Hey everybody, welcome to Recover from Adrenal Fatigue Fast. This is part one of our four-part series all about how to systematically heal your adrenal fatigue and really how to get that plan into place. So this is part one, and today I want to talk to you all about what you must know first before you can recover and get your energy back, get that brain fog away, and also help support the weight loss, especially that stubborn weight. So welcome everybody to the call today. So we're really going to work with figuring out what is causing your adrenal fatigue, and you're going to learn how to determine what phase you're in. And this is really important. You really must know what phase you're in if you're going to get a healing process that is really going to give you results. And also, you want to make sure your healing is not going to cause you more harm than good. So that's why you need to know about the phases of adrenal fatigue. So I'm going to go through that with you today. And anyone that's just popped on, just say hi, let us know where you're from, and if you have any questions. Let me introduce myself. My name is Madeline McKinnon, and I'm a nutritionist and the founder of Natural Hormone Healing. And I help women heal adrenal fatigue in a way where they don't have to spend all this money on supplements, or if you want to heal adrenal fatigue, I also don't want it to take years to heal, because you might be listening to this today and you might be totally new to adrenal fatigue, or you've been trying to heal for years and you're looking for answers. So this four-part series is going to really help you get clear on, what it is you need to really move the needle and really get results. So that's what we're going to get into today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited that you are all joining me today. Awesome. Thanks for the likes. And yeah, just remember, you can definitely ask any questions in the comments, and I will, do my best to get back to you. So so today, again, if you popped on, we're talking how to find out what phase you're in, how to find out what the cause of your adrenal fatigue is, and what the next steps that you really need to take to get results. So just a little bit background for me. I'm coming at you today because I have struggled with adrenal fatigue myself in the past. I had a period around 5 years ago where I started getting really bad anxiety. I started getting really bad energy, even though I was eating a healthy diet, even though I was doing a lot of really important things for my health, but I still just was not getting results. I wasn't seeing the results that I really was looking for. And that got me on a path to figure out, okay, what can I do? What can I do for myself? And then after I healed my own adrenal fatigue, I was able to see what can I do with my clients and what can I do to really get those good results. So that's what we are diving into today. Great. So anybody who popped on, introduce yourself. We have people in our community from all over the world. So let us know where you're from. And if you have anything that you want to discuss or ask a question, again, let me know. So let's dive in, because we have some important topics. Adrenal fatigue really is costing you a lot. And I'm sure that you know this because you know your body. You understand that it's not how it used to be. You're not feeling exactly, what you want to be feeling. And this is a really frustrating process, because usually one of the first things I hear from people who are struggling with adrenal fatigue is that you don't feel like yourself anymore. And your energy is not just impacting, it's not just the fact that you have low energy. It's the fact that, number one, you're spending your weekends just on the couch recovering, and you don't have any time for your hobbies and pursuing the things in your life that you're really passionate about. And this is really taking a toll. And it can also go on to affect your relationships, because when your hormones are not balanced, you're not going to feel sometimes as confident about yourself. Sex drive can go down because of the increase of cortisol, and it just can put a damper on things. It can even cause depression for some people. So I know that if you're listening, I understand that this is not just about one thing. This adrenal fatigue is trickling into all areas of your life, and that's why if you're listening, I'm sure it's really important that you do something about this right away. The other thing that can happen. It can impact your work as well. It can impact your career, but it can impact your family, just so many different areas. So for those of you tuning in, just in one word, what is that? What is one of those areas that you are seeing adrenal fatigue impacting? Like, is it work? Is it family? Is it everything? Is it your confidence? Just let me know in one word, so we can see that people can see that they're not alone, because it can feel like a lonely journey when you're trying to heal adrenal fatigue. But just know that I want to give you answers today, and I want to really help you see those results and really get the answers that you need. So it's great. We have lots of people tuning in today, and I am just trying to pull this up here. Awesome. So we have, thank you. Jill is on here. Jade is on here. That's great. Awesome. So I am just going to pull those up. So thanks for sharing, you guys. That's awesome. So let's get on to the content, because I want to talk to you about, number one, what you want to know first when you're starting your adrenal healing journey. So let's first talk about the causes of adrenal fatigue. So if you want to heal it, you really want to first figure out what has caused your adrenal fatigue in the first place. So, what is it exactly? So the first thing is, adrenal fatigue is usually caused by a stressor. So when listening here, I want you to look back right now and just look back. It could be looking back on your life. It could be looking back on the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months or years. Have you had some type of stressor? This could be something to do with a marriage. It could be to do with taking care of a sick family member. It could be work-related, or maybe you've just had a really stressful work-related job. Just let me know here. Are you experiencing those stressors? Is that something that you have noticed, that's something that you have? And let me just check. I'm going to see what you guys are saying here. To check in with you guys. But have you noticed that you've had an extreme type of stress? So adrenal fatigue, it can be caused by usually like a couple types of stress, but usually it's your body recovering from some type of extreme form of stress, but there can also be other causes of it as well, if that's something that you're really experiencing. So let me just check in and see how you guys are doing. Okay, I have the comments. Awesome. Okay, so Josanne, you're saying your relationship, hopefully I pronounced that right. It's kind of like affecting your relationship with yourself. That's like one thing that you noticed. Okay, great. Awesome. So it can, well, it's not awesome when that's impacting you, but it really can be a struggle. So first off, it's important to determine, what is it? So did you have a time in your life where you noticed that you had an increased level of stress? Is it happening now? Is it happening before? It's important that you pinpoint that, because usually what's happening with adrenal fatigue is when you are stressed, what happens is your body flips into your fight or flight response, where you go from your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest nervous system, to your sympathetic nervous system, which is your ancient fight or flight response, where your body literally thinks your life is at risk somehow, even though it might not seem like it. And what can happen over time is that the cortisol, your body starts to produce cortisol, which is those stress hormones. And your cortisol can start to increase for a short period of time, and we can handle it for a short period of time. But when we start to go into high cortisol in the long term, then that's when we can transition to the different phases of adrenal fatigue. And it can be stress that's going on, but there's also other forms of stress that we will be talking about in our other trainings in this series. So you could even have stress from what you're eating, stress from something that's going on in your environment, in your lifestyle, or it usually is just the stacking of a lot of those different things that is causing that really extreme level of stress. So that's what you can expect. But it's really good, number one, pinpoint. Is there something going on? Because if you don't know exactly exactly what it is, it can be hard to heal. So I want to take you through that and really help you understand. So we'll be going through that in that training, but just I want you to start getting that awareness. You know, did you have some stressors going on in your environment that may have caused it? And then the other thing that you want to know if you're just getting started is, first off, do you have adrenal fatigue in the first place? Like, do you have adrenal fatigue, or is it something else? And if you have adrenal fatigue, what stage are you in? And I have my whiteboard with me because I'm going to go through the stages of adrenal fatigue so you can really understand it. And as I was talking about it, for anyone that just popped in, you need to know what stage you're in, because this is going to help you determine the treatment method that's really going to work for you. Let's talk about that. I want to go through it. So first off, really adrenal fatigue, when you look at it on your test results, it really has a lot to do with your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. Cortisol needs to be in a Goldilocks balance in order to actually give you good health and give you good energy levels and help you sleep during the day. Cortisol is not a bad thing, it just has to be balanced. So I'm going to show you here exactly what you want your cortisol to be looking like during the day, and this means that your adrenals are healthy and how you can determine if this is what's going on. So I have mine here. I'm going to get something that works here. So this is the graph. This is the AM, and then this is the PM, like when you wake up. And your cortisol, which is created by your adrenals, needs to be increased when you wake up. So usually it's low when you're sleeping, and then when you get out of bed, so when you actually stand up, it's okay if your cortisol is low when you're lying in bed. That's normal. For a lot of people, it's hard to get out of bed because our cortisol is still low. But right when you go out of bed, you really should feel that increase of energy when you wake up. So what you want to do is it will start to go up in the morning, and then it peaks in the morning. And then as you go through the day, it starts to slowly decline. And actually around 3 p.m., it is normal to get that normal energy dip around 3. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That just happens from the cortisol patterns. And then it starts to lower, so then you can actually have a good sleep at night. This is what your cortisol levels should be like. You should feel energized in the morning, and then you're going to be able to wind down and have a good sleep at night. So how many of you listening here have that pattern? Do you actually have good energy when you wake up, or are you feeling and are you sleeping well? Is that you? Because if that's you, then your adrenals are likely in good shape. But it's still important to know what those other forms are. But probably if you're listening, they probably aren't in the best shape, because that's a sign that, yeah, you're here because you're really experiencing some uncomfortable symptoms that you don't want to experience. But that's what it should look like. So that's our thriving adrenals. And I do have a quiz that you can take that we will be linking in the comments if you want to learn a little bit more about it. But let's go into the first stage of adrenal fatigue. This is the stressed stage of adrenal fatigue, and this is when you have elevated cortisol throughout the day. So before I drew, so when you're elevated cortisol, it still might go down a little bit, but it typically is just higher than it should be. So that's kind of the normal cortisol, and then this is the stressed adrenal fatigue, where you just have high cortisol during the day. So this is usually what happens at first when you're trying to heal adrenal fatigue. So this is when what's going on for you is you're just really you have a high level of stress, and in this stage, likely you might still have energy. You might still, you might not even know that you're starting to head into adrenal fatigue at this point at all, because usually you're probably going through something at work, maybe something in life is required you to just be on. But one pinpoint here that's really important is you might feel like you're running off of adrenaline, that you actually have something is going on and that your adrenaline is running. So does anyone, let us know in the comments if that is you. Are you running off of adrenaline? That could be a sign. But you still have energy, but it doesn't feel like true energy. So in this stage of adrenal fatigue, some things that you may notice though, if you have high cortisol, is you might notice the weight gain, because cortisol actually can increase belly fat, which is really frustrating. And you may notice that you don't change your diet, you don't change your nutrition, but you have that extra belly fat around the middle, and this is a struggle. And when you use these things that we're going to teach you in this training, it's possible to get rid of your belly fat. We had one lady who went through our program, Darla, who was able to get rid of her belly fat just through using these principles. And it wasn't just nutrition. Nutrition is important, but she put all these things in place, and we got an email and she said that her belly fat went away. And that's amazing, because that's one of the most huge thing that so many women struggle with. So, you know, that's, if you can, it's possible, but the approach to weight loss is going to be totally different if you want to get those results. Okay, awesome. Yeah, great. So anybody have any questions? I will be answering them towards the end, and I do have yeah, some more resources that you can get access to at the end, but for now you can get access to that adrenal fatigue where you'll learn more. Other things you might notice here is brain fog. You might notice that your brain fog and anxiety, because when cortisol goes up, you can get an increased amount of anxiety. So this is you. So usually what's happening here is you're in stage 1, and one of the things that you want to do is do things to lower your cortisol, and we'll be totally getting more into those details in the next call, but you have to lower your cortisol, and it's important. You want to know what stage you're in, because if you want to take herbs, you need to take herbs that are going to lower your cortisol, because there's some herbs that increase and some herbs that decrease. And a lot of people are taking the wrong ones and taking the wrong supplements to heal their adrenal fatigue. So if you don't know what stage you're in, you know, you might not get the best results, and it's just not going to fully work and be totally effective for you. So let's go on to the next stage. So if you've been stressed for a while, your body is going to start to usually flip into another stage of adrenal fatigue. Usually it is going to flip into wired but tired. I'm going to just use the same graph, and I'm going to show you what wired but tired is like. So wired but tired happens when your cortisol pattern flips. Basically, your circadian rhythm has flipped, it's changed, and your body starts to get confused because of the cortisol for a long time. It starts to get confused as to like what exactly is going on for you. So usually, if this is the experience for you, you're actually going to have low cortisol in the morning. You're going to be dragging yourself through the day, especially dragging yourself in the morning. You're going to be way more dependent on coffee, and then it's going to start to go up. And then it's really annoying because you get a second wind when you actually want to go to sleep. Anybody have that happen before? I've had that happen in my adrenal fatigue recovery journey, and it's really, really frustrating. But actually, if any of you are a mom here listening, maybe it's not frustrating because you have your second wind to go drive your kids to activities and then go be the super mom in the evening cleaning the house. Like, anybody like that right now? But you're like that. It's kind of like life is asking you to do those things, but it's not the best for your cortisol pattern, because what's happening here is this when you're really going to start to get that low energy, and definitely the brain fog, the weight loss can still be an issue. And then the other things that can happen here that are slightly frustrating is you can experience other symptoms of hormone imbalances. So you can have, just because of that cortisol rhythm getting disrupted, it can disrupt your other hormone rhythms. So then you might be diagnosed with a low thyroid, you might have low progesterone, have trouble conceiving, have more PMS, amplified menopause symptoms, and a low libido. I think most people that come to me who have adrenal issues all tell me that they have a low libido. So this is a struggle. So I'm getting some likes here. So I think some of you might be relating here to this. So yeah, this is the stress. So what you want to do here is you need to fix this circadian rhythm channel. You need to find a way to get the circadian rhythm balanced again, so your body knows what time you should be awake and what time you shouldn't. So this is wired but tired for anyone that just popped in. And again, you can take our quiz, which we have linked in the comments, that has more details about what's going on for you. But I'm going to actually draw the next one. So the next one is stage 3 adrenal fatigue. This is crashed. So crashed adrenal fatigue, usually when clients come to see us in our programs that we have, this is the most common phase. This is low cortisol. This is when you've been in that high state of cortisol for so long that your body starts to dysfunction and it starts to not produce enough cortisol that it needs. It doesn't mean that your adrenals have shut down. It's just that your body has been stressed for so long that it's sending signals to its brain to not function well. But this is a very serious level of adrenal fatigue, and I really encourage you to seek support. Seek support for all the levels, because honestly, you are worth it. You are worth like feeling better and feeling like yourself again. But this one is more serious because you actually can start to have symptoms of autoimmune conditions in this one. So I'll explain that to you. But this is kind of what this is looking like. The cortisol is just low. It's low at night, it's low during the day, maybe it will go up a little bit. So what usually the common experience is you have low energy throughout the day. And then you also can sleep at night, but if you're in menopause, you still may have sleep issues at the same time, but you're having problems sleeping at night, and then you're just not feeling your best. And well, you're feeling horrible usually at this state, but it doesn't matter how much sleep you get, you just can't, you don't feel well rested. And this can be a serious condition. And there's some people that are in stage 3 where they're still able to go out in the world and function, but usually they're in that situation that I described before where you're out and you're experiencing some major issue. You have to like be on it at work, but then when you go home, like you can barely do the dishes. You just kind of have to be on it when you can. But then there can be some women that go through this who are just crashing, where they are bedridden for a period of time, and that's really normal as well to experience. So that's why it's so important to heal. The other symptoms other than the low energy, the brain fog that you might notice is low blood pressure, because the adrenals control blood pressure, cravings for salt. And also, you might notice a worsening of your allergies. So when I was going through adrenal fatigue, I started to develop allergies that I've never had before to like avocados and different healthy foods. And then you might be experiencing more achy joints. So those are symptoms of your immune system reacting, some of those immune symptoms. So that's why it's so important to get a plan together and make sure you're on the right protocol that's not going to mess with these cortisol levels. So the herbs, the supplements that you take is going to be different. So that's what's really important to note. But really, if you're listening today and you want to know more about this, then it's important that you take that quiz and just know that you want to tune into these other trainings that we're offering each week at 7 p.m. Just mark your calendars, and I'm going to step you through that. And next week, we're going to get into a plan to help you fully recover from adrenal fatigue. So it's going to be our game plan, where you're going to write down some really actionable action steps that you can join us. One thing that I want to mention too is that if any of you need support and you are wanting support, you're wanting that accountability and a plan in place, you can send me an email, support@naturalhormonehealing.com, or just click this Natural Hormone Healing and just message me or message Jennifer, my team member, and we are going to set you up with a free discovery call with me. So you can set up with a one-on-one call. You can book in the next 2 weeks, and I will help you with your adrenal fatigue recovery plan, and I'll see how I can support and how we can really work together. So if you want this, send us a private message in Natural Hormone Healing, or send us an email at support@naturalhormonehealing.com, and that is in the comments, because I know that if you're here, you understand your body. You know that something isn't right. You've been to the doctors and you just haven't received the right information that you need. Yeah, so Dorothy, we'll make sure that you get that link to the quiz. We'll make sure that you get that for sure. I was seeing some comments from Melanie here as well, but it's not popping up. But I saw something about you saying that this was really empowering. So I'm really glad that, yeah, you're experiencing that. Awesome. So yeah, we're getting back to everybody on this list here. But yeah, I'm really excited to be starting these training series because fall is usually the time where your energy maybe is not at its peak, and I want to help you get back to more energy. So remember, send us a message if you want that to book that discovery call, do the quiz, and I will see you next week and we will get your game plan together. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.